Dear students, welcome you all to the 20th session of Personal Investment Management. In this session, we are going to discuss the stock market indices SENSEX. So we are under the module 3 and let us discuss about SENSEX. SENSEX is one of the very important stock market indices which is very popular throughout India. I think almost all the companies which are there in India are listed in Bombay Stock Exchange, and the Sensex is calculated based on the companies which are listed in stock BS Bombay Stock Exchange, and particularly the 30 companies which are known as the top companies of India or whose shares are traded highly in stock exchanges. Their stock prices are taken into account and this index is calculated. And the Sensex is also known as S&P BSE index, is India's oldest indices and also most widely followed stock market index throughout the world also. It tracks the performance of 30 financially sound and actively traded companies. That's what I said. These 30 companies are financially sound companies, top companies, and their market capitalization, their net worth, their products, and their profit, everything in all the indicators, they are top companies, and these company shares are highly traded in the Bombay Stock Exchange, and these 30 companies are taken and their share prices are taken and the index is calculated. I think in the next slide I'm going to give you the formula to calculate the Sensex. So these companies represent various sectors. So companies belong to different sectors, particularly banking, information technology, energy, consumer goods, service, pharmaceuticals, etc. Uh, let's understand the full form of Sensex. So I think everybody knows the full form of Sensex. It is Stock Exchange Sensitivity Index. So full form of Sensex is Stock Exchange Sensitive Index. So what's the meaning of stock as sensitive index? The BSE Stock Exchange Sensitive Index is an Indian free float market weighted stock market index of 30 well established and financially sound companies listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So that's the meaning of BSE Sensex. So Indian free float market weighted stock market. So what is the free float? We are going to calculate or we are going to understand in the next slide. And the market weighted stock market. So the capital or the sensitivity index is calculated based on the market weights of 30 well established, or we can say the top companies in terms of their capital uh, capital appreciation or their profit or their turnover, etc. And financially sound companies, they have very good financial record, and all these companies are listed in Bombay Stock Exchange. So overview of Sensex. Firstly, the Sensex was started or launched on 1st January 1986, and its base year is 1978-1979 with a base value of 100. So base value taken was 100, and the calculation method is, yeah, I said here, free float market weighted stock market. So free float market capitalization method which is followed to calculate the sensitive index. The purpose, what is the purpose of sensitivity index? The purpose is to, it acts as a barometer for overall market sentiment. So how the market goes up or goes down, how the market affects, everything is denoted by Sensex. So Sensex will tell us the sentiment of the stock market or BSE stock market. So Sensex is regarded as the pulse of the domestic stock markets in India. So because it represents the sentiment or overall growth or overall barometer of all the companies which are listed in Bombay Stock Exchange. On all these companies are domestic companies, and therefore it is known as the pulse of the domestic markets in India. Let us know the calculation of Sensex. How Sensex is calculated. The Sensex is calculated using the free float market capitalization method, which reflects the market value of top 30 companies listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So, as I said, the Sensex is calculated using the free float market capitalization method, and this method is very popular and through which the Sensex value is calculated. Here is the formula to calculate the Sensex. So, Sensex is equal to total free float market capitalization divided by base market capitalization into 100. So, let's understand how to calculate this total free float market capitalization and base market capitalization. So market capitalization means, I think everybody knows, it's the share price into the total number of shares. You will get the total market capitalization. And free float factor. This is very, very important in Sensex value. So what is free float factor? So it is percentage of shares available for public trading. So what is this? So it excludes promoters holding and government stakes. So that means only the shares which are available for public trading, only such shares percentage is taken as free float factor. So what is free float market capitalization? So this is the method we are going to follow for calculation of Sensex. So it is very simple. Market capitalization into free float factor is your free float market capitalization. That means it clearly excludes promoter shareholdings and government shareholdings. So we know base year is 1978-79, that is 100. So base market capitalization, that is 2501 crore. So this is the indicators for calculating the Sensex value. Now tell me, I think we should list some companies which come under calculation of Sensex, top 30 companies, and you should know it. You should know that every year the companies list will change. So whichever is the top 30 companies, those companies will be taken into account. At present, we have Reliance, then we have HDFC Bank Limited, Bharti Airtel, ICICI Bank, SBA Bank, Infosys, then Bajaj Finance, then Kotak Mahindra Bank, Maruti Suzuki, then Axis Bank, then Bajaj Fin Services, even Zomato also included in the 30 top 30, BEL, then even Adani also, Adani companies include, Tata Motors also included, then Asian Paints, and so like this 30 top companies are included in Sensex calculation. Now let us understand the features of Sensex one by one. The first one, so what is this benchmark index? So benchmark index means it's a common point of reference or standard point through which we can measure the growth of stock market, whether it has gone up, whether it has gone down. So if the stock market goes up, that means definitely the all companies are performing well, Indian economy is good, and so many other indicators which tells positive about their performance. So if the stock market is going down, definitely it is because of so many indicators are not performing well. So that's why by looking at the benchmark index, we can just analyze the performance of the economy, performance of various companies, performance of stock market. And the second one is free float capitalization method, and we have discussed the formula also, the calculation of Sensex. So free float capitalization method is very important method, okay, which calculates the index values using this method. And why this method was taken is this reason: it provides more accurate representation of market dynamics. So whichever company shares which are publicly traded, only those company shares are taken into account, or those shares are taken into account. For example, now the promoters holding, they are not traded in the stock market, even government holding also not traded in the stock market. Such shares are not taken into account to get the correct picture. Then high liquidity. So another important feature of Sensex is liquidity. uh, if you could see the daily volume of Sensex, or the shares which are traded in Bombay Stock Exchange, it is 50 to 60 lakhs shares per day. And see the tremendous amount of the volume trade shares that are traded in the stock market. So that itself provides huge liquidity for the investors to buy or sell their shares. Then portfolio diversification, we can diversify our investment in other sectors, or we can identify the performance of various sectors by just Sensex performance. So we can make out which sectors are performing well, or which particular industries are performing well, or companies are performing well, so through which we can diversify our portfolio using the single index. And next one, security and reliability. I think almost all the investors or all the institutional investors, they simply rely on Sensex as a trusted indicator of market performance. And definitely, whatever the calculation that is done by Sensex is real calculations. Okay, if the Sensex falls down means majority of the shares of the companies which are traded in BSE will fall down. If the Sensex goes up means definitely majority of the company's share price is going up. So that is what the trusted indicator or security or reliability of the Sensex. Everybody will believe upon the performance of stock market based on Sensex. Then convenience. Through Sensex, we can easily track the market trends, whether market is going up, whether the market is going down. Even for options and other markets, also derivative market is also a very important trend. Sensex acts as a very important trend through which they can identify whether market is going to upwards or whether the market is going to downwards, and which will definitely help us to make valid investment decisions, or we can say correct investment decisions based on the Sensex trend. And the last one is semi-annual assessment. So it is not assessed once in a year, it is assessed twice in a year. So that is in the month of June as well as in the month of December. So that's what semi-annual assessment. So Sensex is assessed whether the companies that are selected under the top 30 are correct, or whether there need to be any changes, whether there need to be any change added, any other company should be added. So all these things are analyzed, assessed every twice in a year. So that's all from this session. So we have discussed the stock market indices, one of the important stock market indices, that is Sensex. So what is Sensex, how it is calculated, and what are the various features of Sensex. So thank you for watching this video. We'll meet you on the next video. Thank you.